Hey y'all, it's your girl Kanisha. Thank you so much. This is Life with Kanisha. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel here, okay? Anyways, as you can clearly see, this talk today is going to be about self. Tell me what you think about when you think about self. Write that down in the comments below. So anyway, when it comes to self, when it comes to being your authentic self, that's what we all crave. Subconsciously, we all crave to be our true authentic self. And as you're growing, as you're prospering, whatever you're doing in your life, whatever you're elevating in, whatever style that you are changing into, whatever you're building or creating, the most common praise you get is, I like that, keep going, be true to yourself, be real, things like that, those type of cliche comments that people will give you along the way. And see, when you actually start to take on those comments and be like, okay, I'm actually going to be my real self. I'm actually going to be my authentic self. And the crazy thing about it is, when people tell you to be your real self and they start to notice that, man, this person, they're being their real self, they're being their true self, they're being authentic. I don't like that, because the crazy thing about it is, whether you know it or not, the authentic you has boundaries. The authentic you has boldness. The authentic you does not have fear. Do y'all understand what I'm saying here? The authentic you operates in great discernment. The authentic you speaks boldly. The authentic you speaks up for righteousness. The authentic part of you is not about to let you get played, manipulated, or be controlled, or guilt tripped, or put into chain. Do you understand? Do you understand me? Your authentic self. And see, the thing is, not everybody knows. It's hard to try to be your authentic self. You have to go in and do the inner work. Even for myself, you guys, even, some of you guys are, or getting to know me through YouTube or through my other social media platforms, is that so far, I have been on a 4-year journey of digging into my soul, digging into my authentic self, being truly who I'm supposed to be, not who people want me to be, not who not who people thought I was, but actually who I am supposed to be, my authentic self. And not being afraid of that, not being ashamed of that, right? Because the crazy thing about it is, people would rather for you to be in a space where they can be comfortable with you, where they can always have you at the whim of their finger and at every beck and every call. Do you understand what I'm saying here? But your authentic self, your healed self, it doesn't go for those things. And see, when you really want to be your healed self, when you really want to be your authentic self, guess what? That's going to cause you to have to go into the dark side of you, go into the dark places, the hidden places, the thoughts and things that you have suppressed in your subconscious mind to really really figure out why you feel the way you feel, why you do the things that you actually do. Because the crazy thing about it is, when you have not had the opportunity to become your real self, you actually take on what you think, who you think you're supposed to be based off what other people are saying, right? And yes, guess what? That's not true living. That's not enjoying your gift of life. Your gift of life now has been labeled and stewarded by other people's opinions, by their thoughts and how they want you to be. And have you ever thought about how you want to be? How does where is your heart's desire? Where is your mind? What are your thought processes? You get what I'm saying? When you are all alone, what is the true you saying? Because let me tell you something. The real you wants to become. The real you wants to show up. The real you wants to fulfill its God-given purpose in the earth. Do you understand what I'm saying here? The real you, the authentic you. The you that laughs with joy, the you that's not afraid, the you that's not afraid of other people's opinions, the you that does not bend because somebody doesn't accept you, because you have already accepted yourself. You are already loved within yourself, so you don't need love. You don't need, someone else to love you, because you're not lacking in those areas. You have now realized who you are, your real self. And it can get scary. And, and the real thing about it is, it can get scary on this journey of finding out the authentic you. Because guess what? It's going to expose the fake people that was attached to you. It's going to expose the nasty characters. It's going to expose those who didn't want to grow. It's going to expose those who didn't want you to be prosperous. Those who didn't want to see you elevate. Those who didn't want you to grow. Those who didn't want you to mature in your mind. You got to go in that dark place, that dark and hidden place within inside yourself. And see, the thing is, that's why some people, they find themselves from relationship to relationship, or finding themselves being workaholics because the pain, because they don't want to deal with the things that is trying to surface up out of them. You have to deal with that loneliness. You have to deal with that people pleasing. You have to deal with that shame. You have to deal with that condemnation. You have to deal with that guilt, because the things that you don't deal with, the things that you don't give to God, guess what? It's going to be ruler over you. It's going to hold you down. It's going to suppress you. It's going to oppress you. You are going to be under pressure always. 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 Do you understand what I'm saying? It's hard looking at yourself in the mirror. I've done it. It's hard looking at yourself in the mirror and realizing, man, like, I have not made great choices. I have not did well. I have betrayed myself. I have fooled myself. I have lied to myself. I have let people's opinions deter me, discourage me. You got to go back and look at self. One of the foundation basics of this channel here, life is a gift and you should enjoy it. There's no reason why you're living this life still feeling bound, not being able to really express yourself, not really being able to really fly your wings and get out the cage and be free. We're in a time of age where you cannot afford to let people's opinions affect how you view yourself. Opinions will kill your dreams. But again, you have to look yourself in the mirror. You have to look at your own reflection. You can't be focused on what other people have going on. You have to look at you. Y'all, let me tell you something. I cannot remember, literally, I haven't fought nobody else's demons but my own for the past 4 years. Do you understand me? I stopped taking on other people's responsibilities. I stopped letting people guilt trip me. I stopped letting people make me feel bad for things that they did. Do you understand me? I can't tell you how look, I haven't fought nobody else's demons in a long time, and it feels good because I'm focused on myself. I'm focused on looking at myself in the mirror, working on me, working on making sure the authentic me comes forth. And that's what has been happening to a lot of you guys. You can't be your real self because you're too busy fighting other people's demons, fighting other people's traumas, dibbling, dabbling your hands and stuff that has nothing to do with you, because you're struggling with people pleasing, because you're struggling with wanting to be validated and wanting to be loved. And guess what? Universally, love is given freely. So ultimately, you don't have to work for love. You don't have to work to be liked. You don't have to work to be accepted. You have to already know that you are accepted. You have to accept yourself. That's like one of the foundations of knowing, like, guess what? In order for me to walk into my authentic self, to be my real self, I must first accept myself. I must accept who I am. And not feel afraid about it, not feel shame about it. Because not everybody's not going to like you. And guess what? That's not your problem. Because when you start to walk in your authentic self, guess what? Other people's problems, they don't become your problems. And the more you look at yourself in the mirror, the more you start to face the things, the traumas, the hidden things, the things that you have allowed yourself by choice or by the lack of knowledge to endure. Like there have been times where I will find myself on the floor crying because I'm now opening up the hidden places of my heart. There are people stuck in families and relationships, stuck in jobs and places where they are not truly happy, but they have to pretend to be happy because they still want people to accept them even when they don't feel happy. And that's not the adequate way of living. And if you're listening to this right now, if you're working a job, if you are, and you're not happy, then you need to find where you are supposed to be. Find your happy, find your purpose. Don't sit there and settle because you feel like you have to. That's not self-love. That's not giving yourself the best. You get what I'm saying here? You have to look at yourself. And for those, if I have any fault finders, listening in, guess what? If you're always in the place of fault finding someone else, your fault finder, you should be able to look at yourself first. What's going on inside of you? What's in your life? What's in your house that's not in order? Especially in today's age where, like the world, the fashion, the trends now is to look the same, to blend in with everybody. You're not meant to blend in with everybody. It doesn't matter who gets jealous of you, who gets hateful at you on this journey. The most important part is, can you be real to you? Can you be true to yourself? Don't sit here and live a life that you can't even live, that you're not even enjoying. Like there are people right now tied to families and marriages, bound by religion, suffering for religion, suffering because they don't want to be talked about, because they don't want to look shameful, because they're not ready to accept the newness of their life. Do y'all hear me? But guess what? Wanting to be your real self, wanting to be your authentic self, that's the best investment. That's the best search that you can ever go on. That's better than Google search. Yeah. But I just had to share that with you guys. Self. You got to be able to look at yourself. Ask yourself why you're battling with jealousy. Ask yourself why you are the way that you are. And I can almost guarantee that some of you guys, you're going to realize the type of life that you have been living is not the type of life that you truly desire. You can't pull yourself down and then look at other people as the anchor. We have to be able to get up and remove the chains and realize that we do not belong to be bound. Like even in my own personal journey of finding out my authentic self, my real self, I have felt so much freedom. I felt so much freedom in my personality. I felt so much freedom even how I dress myself, how I look. Because guess whose body is this? This is my body. Guess whose life this is? This is my life. There's so many people. You're probably one of them listening. And you have great ideas. You have things you want to do. But you're scared to be the real you. You're scared to look too prideful to others who don't want to see you be great. I don't know if you guys went back to, if you guys went back to listen to my video upload time, the time is now. But we're getting older. We're getting older. Don't allow your fear. Don't allow false personas and false personalities. People who don't care about you. People who really are not interested in what you have going on to stop you. To stop you from being great. To stop you from healing. You can't get everybody to like you. But the most important thing is you have to like you. You have to love you. You have to be okay with seeing the truth about yourself. A lot of people can't see themselves rightly because they keep lying to themselves. But you got to be willing to be honest with yourself. Just like how you want people to be honest with you, you got to be honest with you. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to be able to tackle the self-hate, the low self-esteem. Y'all, it starts with you. How do you really feel? You got to be willing to take off the mask. Take off the mask. When you get by yourself, you got to be willing to take off the mask. Take off the happy face. You know you're not happy. You know you're not living a fulfilling life. You know you feel restrained. You know you need to be doing more. You got to be able to bust out these shells and out the skins of things that's holding you back. The false narratives, the false beliefs about yourself. Where people want you to be. You got to figure out where you want to be. Where you desire to be. And remember, this life is a gift. You should live it. You should enjoy it. Yeah. You should enjoy that thing. You have to remember, we have a choice. And again, like I said in my previous video, you have a choice. You have a choice. But you have to be sick and tired of not being the real you. It starts with yourself. Even for like the people who are in the religious culture. There's a time where you're going to have to sit down with yourself and really assess your heart, your mind. And not just cover it up with a nice hand clap and a two-step praise. Like for those out there who do believe in God, you're going to have to go deeper than that. You are going to have to go deeper than that. Yeah. But yeah, you have to be able to look at yourself. Like everybody wants discernment. Everybody wants to stay alert on what other people are doing except themselves. Let me tell you something. You don't have real discernment until you're able to discern what's going on in your body in your heart and your mind. If you really want to know if you have discernment. If you have the gift of discernment, of knowing. Yeah. But I just want to just share this talk with you guys. You have to look yourself in the mirror. You have to be willing to look at every part of you and not just only the good parts. But you guys, thank you so much for listening. Definitely like, comment, subscribe below. I love you guys. Until next time.